Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady D.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com. Welcome back, everyone. Lady D and myself are back in our recording studio.
We're so excited to be sitting here across from each other.
Back in our comfy chairs, kicked back, and hopefully...
Not naked.
Not yet. But hopefully going to share some valuable information for you all. Today, we're going to talk about our website and what all it has brought to life, including adult games that we have done, adult games that we have made that are available on our website.
It's pretty crazy.
It is a lot. So we'll go back a few years before thedomlife.com. We had met.
There was a time before the Dom Life.
There was a time before the Dom Life.
Like it.
So we had met, and we were getting in our dominant, submissive lifestyle.
Learning experience.
Learning each other, trying to figure out how to do life and to do DS.
Oh, it's so hard sometimes,
It was
especially
tough.
when you have a little one.
We had found Club Tempted through a friend of yours
Yes.
who shall remain nameless.
Yes. And it was a wonderful thing that she introduced us to just because she had gone and she's like, I think this might interest you. Really? Why? Because we're into BDSM? Oh, yes. She said it has a dungeon.
Yes. So we went our first night there on a Friday. We actually went the whole weekend the first time, Friday
Right,
and
because
Saturday.
Friday was the intro night. And
Friday
we
was
were
our interviews.
interviews.
Introduction to the club, our club tour.
It's been so long that I honestly remember so little of it, which is crazy because it's only a couple of years.
Correct. We're just now going up on our third year of being members at the club. But we went Friday night, got our interview, met. There was a few people there. It wasn't a whole lot, but there was a few. And as a matter of fact, some of our best friends, was their first night there. We didn't talk much that night.
Or a few months, and then it was like...
And then we wound up at the club again. And then from then on was when we really built that friendship. And, well, you and her go out quite a bit for lunch and girls' day trips and all kinds of stuff. So that was a great friendship made. But we went back for Saturday, and I can't remember the theme that night.
I don't remember.
There seems to be
either.
a common thing. In case you all don't know, I barely can remember what I had for lunch yesterday. So when I say I can't remember, I really just can't remember what it was. There's just always so much going on, and my brain just can't hold it all.
Right. I
But
feel the same way. We're in the same boat, thank goodness.
We did get to the dungeon.
This was before the
This
box.
was before the Dom box.
I know who was there. Did we actually get to the dungeon that night? Because I don't know that we had very much.
We visited.
I know we borrowed another person's stuff after one of the intros.
Right.
I'm trying to remember what we even had.
Yeah,
It
it
was so long ago.
We had I had such few implements, if anything.
And you have so many now. So the between the beginning and today.
Oh my God. It's been a lot. But we was there. We actually went quite often when we first started, and we still do. We summertime, we usually don't go too much. We enjoy our home. We enjoy our pool. But we do when it's weather starts getting bad or cold when we don't really have
I
anything
don't
else
know.
to
We
do,
just
go.
spent all of last month going to the club because of birthdays. So all of last month.
It was a lot.
But now finally it's warm and we've been in the pool for a few weeks. So
Yes.
that's kind of nice.
Yes, it is. But on with how the Dom life come about. We was at the club one night. I've told this story before. I'm going to go ahead and tell it again. We was at the club one night. I had my Dom box. It had it setting up against the wall on the first floor where the dance floor is and all the seating areas. So I had my Dom box there, and we always have a few drinks. We dance, we mingle, we talk, we meet new people.
Yes.
We talk with our friends. We hang out with our friends. All of
We
that,
get there early.
all of that takes place early in the night from when time we get there till time to go up to the dungeon. And we made our way to the dungeon that night. And this was before they'd renovated it. So the dungeon was the very first room you come to when you walk down the hallway of all the
on
playrooms.
the third floor. Mhm.
And there is a door with a huge window that you can see as you start to come up the steps. And there was always a crowd there.
Always the crowd. It was
No
so
matter
much
who is in the dungeon,
fun.
there's always a crowd. So we made our way into the dungeon. We waited our turn. I put you on the cross. I opened up the Dom box. I had everything scattered across the floor. And we got done for the night, packed everything up. We came home, woke up the next morning, scrolling through Facebook, and on Tempted's Facebook page, somebody had made a comment. They was wanting to know who had the toolbox. I took a picture of my box and I commented and I was like, hey, this is my box. We was there last night. If this is it, feel free to message me. And it was a couple that are from out of state that had visited the club that night.
And they do podcasts.
And they were doing podcasts and they wanted to know if I would be on their podcast. But they originally thought the maintenance guy had been
left.
working on something and had left his toolbox sitting there until they were walking down the hallway after playing.
And we didn't even notice.
Didn't even pay any attention. And the guy looked in and seen what it was, but he did not mention to his partner or his friends, which then they were upset. They was like, oh my God, wished you had told us. They would have stopped and introduced themselves then and would have watched. But he's seen it, didn't say anything, didn't say nothing until after they had left. So that was the reason for the post. So we'd messaged back and forth. They asked if I would do a podcast. They were just learning BDSM.
Right.
And I do remembering.
And they were doing a lot of exploring into sexual scenarios. I
Yes.
remember that was part of
And his word was they were dabbling. They were just dabbling into it and wanted to know if they could interview me. And of course, I was like, hell yes, I'd love to, be on your podcast. So we set up a date, Zoom call. They had technical issues that night.
It ended up running pretty late, and we get up
late.
pretty early in the morning.
They had just got new equipment and had trouble getting it set up. So I had a little bit of a hard time hearing them. Sometimes they had a hard time hearing me. After the interview, they went back and edited where, so the viewers could hear. But you could tell there was some technical difficulties. But they had a long list of questions, and you could tell by some of their questions they
just didn't have knowledge.
They didn't have the knowledge of it. So it was a lot of fun talking to them. I think they called me a dominatrix at first, and that was one of the things I told them. Hey, dominatrix is a female
I think they had
dom.
the episode name that first.
I think
didn't
so.
They?
That
and they had to
something.
change the episode name.
Yeah. So I had to educate them, that I'm a dominant, a dominatrix is a female dom. So we had to get that kind of squared away and straightened out. But one of the questions they asked me in there was if I could make a career out of it. And of course I was blown away at first. I was like, no, but man, I would love to make a career out of it. And that got me thinking, not only for a career path of being a dom.
Your thinking has caused us a lot of work.
Yes.
Okay, keep
my
going.
thinking was education
Yes.
of the BDSM.
And you do it very well.
trying to take away a lot of the misconceptions regarding BDSM and what the lifestyle is actually about and the things that go on in it, trying to ease some people at, with their minds as far as, they don't like pain. Well, you don't have to have pain, as we've described in our previous episodes.
It's been so interesting, this path that you've chosen for us, because I wouldn't have.
It's not something you would want to do.
No, it's not even something. It's just a lot of work that is entailed and involved in it in order to get us there. There's a lot of things and pieces that I do of it that I made happen,
right?
But with unknowingly bringing us to this,
right?
But you personally have this dedication and desire inside of you to educate and teach people, as well as to introduce them physically into it as well. And we've just been so lucky.
Yes,
so
it has been a lot. So with that, constantly, thinking, what can I do, to get out there to educate and to take away the misconceptions?
I remember a TikTok. That's what I remember. I remember a TikTok that took off overnight to like crazy amounts.
Oh yeah.
And then
one TikTok.
And then because of a couple more posts that were adult, and they weren't, I mean, we're not out there being crazy, but
my one TikTok showing our hidden D-ring mounted to the rafters in our ceiling.
We're both looking up.
Hidden behind our smoke detector. That does still work, by the way. But I can remove my smoke detector, and from there I can hang a sex swing. I can hang some chains to tie you up with
in the bedroom.
In the bedroom, that one TikTok overnight exploded, and
freaked you out. You were so excited.
I was so happy, and then
you get banned.
Then we continued making and always got banned for adult content and sexual nudity.
It surprised me.
But there was no nudity. So
there wasn't even truly any.
It wasn't.
It was
compared
crazy
to what is showed on TikTok
gosh.
now. It's anyway. I am still on TikTok, by the way. You're not going to find very many videos. Every video I put up, they flag, they ban me. I think I'm on a warning now. So you can find me on Clapper, which is similar to TikTok, and they don't ban me. But that got me thinking, that really got my mind going. What can I do, to do this? And I think I thought, let's do it. Let's do a website. We checked into that. We wanted to create the website, but I wanted a name. I wanted a simple name, something that if you know, and if you don't know, it raises enough curiosity to make you want to go look.
And that is exactly what you did.
Yep. Driving home one night from work, I got behind the vehicle. It was a truck. I'm sitting at a red light. I see Salt Life sticker on it. And that's when the name come to me.
Yeah, it totally spoke to you.
The Dom Life. I thought simple, short, to the point. If you know, you know. If you don't, you're curious enough to say, what is that?
And then, it took a while, but he put it on the back of his vehicle. So here's the deal. You'll see his vehicle. You'll know it's him, because in his favorite lime neon green color, it's the logo with
the domlife.com on it.
Right. So we are very public, not just on this podcast, but most people know we try to keep some areas a little bit more subdued and not out there, but it's known.
It is on my truck. If you happen to be in Kentucky, or if I'm driving out of state and you see my truck, honk your horn and give me a wave.
So once we created the website, that brought us to, what are we putting on there? What are we doing? And we had already started with our dungeon. We too have a dungeon. We had our friends on that have Ex Libris, but we too have a dungeon. But because of the way that we do the Airbnb in the basement, it's not always, the pieces and parts break apart, break down, get stored
Everything
away.
is hidden, but we can convert it to a dungeon very quickly, and we do have it listed as an Airbnb.
Yep.
So for our listeners, if you're interested in visiting a dungeon, in your own space, in your own time, in your privacy of just you, feel free to check us out on our website.
We have tools. We have all the implements. Obviously, we were just talking about the huge amount. So we
can have a wide variety of stuff.
There can be some instruction.
Or if you're interested, we'd be more than happy to come down, spend an hour or two with you going over everything, explaining what the do's and don'ts of it, and then being able to turn you loose privately. Or, again, we could monitor or stand and teach and show as we go. Also,
because of that, because of the website, and because I'm a crazy person, I'm just going to give it to you. Because
crazy? What?
No, not me. Because I'm not crazy. I just am an entertainer.
Yes, absolutely.
So whenever we have our friends over, so we started wanting to include lifestyle people into our world. And the way to do that is set up parties. Okay, I would like to have more friends who are BDSM and who are in the lifestyles. So we were trying to decide best ways to do this. And it was like, okay, we'll throw a party at our house. Well, I'm not just going to have people over standing around doing nothing. So
I don't think we would be doing nothing, but
I mean, you need some icebreakers. And
sometimes.
I started creating games that were icebreakers.
Yes.
And so we ended up having different kinds of games, and we'd walk through some of them. And I've got some ideas for some more in my head that I'm working on. But we have specifically, the biggest of them is
Naughty Wood,
which is a tumbling tower. So it's just like an adult.
It's basically an adult Jenga. It is made off of those type of blocks. However,
building blocks, and then you pull them out.
However, we have customized them to ours. We have our own blocks now that are laser engraved. It's got our logo. On one side says the Dom Life. On the other, it can be custom. If you have a name you'd like to put on them, we can customize them for you, or we can just have the regular set with Dom Life on both sides. On the underside, you will find a number 1, 2, 3, or 4, or a triple X. And they pertain to the stack of cards that are with
tasks.
The game.
So it's truth, dare,
take a shot, remove an article of clothing.
And triple X is...
That's the old shit card.
Naughty.
It is naughty. So we have that on our website right now, and it is available for sale. You can get the regular edition $40 or $50 to have it customized with your name on one side. It does come with a carrying case and the deck of cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and triple X. There is only 2 triple X blocks in the whole game.
Because those are pretty rough.
Some of those are pretty rough, yes.
Because it's fun, but it's fun. So that's our big...
That's our big item.
There's some other games that we do that we've done at the club.
Yes.
So I have a scavenger hunt,
it's more like a pleasure hunt.
It is a pleasure hunt, but it's a scavenger hunt in which you pull off a tab and you then do the task, whatever it is. And it can be fun and interesting, up to giving somebody a kiss and getting $1. Like, they're going to pay you for your kiss.
Right.
And that's how you get your kiss. And then you come back and you prove that you've done it.
Or you may have to find somebody that's pierced.
And take a picture of the piercing, depending on where that is and how many people are in the club or at your event.
Yes.
It could be interesting.
Yep. It was, that game was a lot of fun. We've played it numerous times at the club. That's a fun hit there. What else do you normally take to the club?
This has become the norm, our Jell-O shots. So my Jell-O shots are in syringes, and they are, first of all, very tasty. And then, of course, there's alcohol. And I've actually done some non-alcoholic ones for friends who want to do the tasks but don't want to drink the alcohol. And in this, I have tasks on a piece of paper that are wrapped around the top end of the syringe where the plunger is. So you take it off and you do the task. And I didn't want it to be all sexual because what fun is that? So I did some pretty crazy ones.
You've got some funky ones. In there.
Like do the downward dog in the middle of the room.
Which is very awkward if a dom gets that one.
It is this Jello shot. The Jello shots are basically talking in a lot of them where it says, "I'm a body shot. Let's go."
And how many flavors?
Oh gosh,
do you think you have now?
I probably have 30 different flavors, from margaritas, strawberry margaritas, cotton candy, watermelon cotton
Tiger's
candy,
blood.
Right.
You've got, I can't even name them all, but I can tell you every freaking one of them is absolutely delicious.
Alabama Slammer.
Yeah, they are
2 ounce
they're
Jello
2
shots.
ounce Jello shots, and they've got
A single shot in each
shot.
one.
So it's not an overpowering alcoholic taste that you get.
No.
It is the perfect blend of Jello and shot. And oh my God.
And the tasks are like, everybody does the tasks whether we're there or not.
Yeah.
We keep them in a cooler. And I have a recipe. I usually bring 7 or 8 different flavors. And I have them color coded so that you open up the cooler to grab a syringe and it's got the flavor. And everybody does the tasks whether we're there or not.
Yeah. And it is definitely a crowd favorite. Every time we get invited to a birthday party, that's one thing. Will you bring Jello shots? So
Yes.
that has turned into very popular. And that is something that we also can have on our website. We can't provide the alcohol,
but we can
we
actually
do not have a
sell
liquor license.
the syringes. We can actually sell the whole thing if you message out to us. We'll just have to trade for the alcohol. We'll need to get a bottle of alcohol from you so that
Yes.
we're not selling alcohol.
Correct.
Merchandise. You have merchandise.
Well, we've got the tumblers.
Ooh,
Everybody,
they're sexy.
they are nice, and you can pick a color. However, the Dom Life, of course, is neon green.
The
so-
women all have the white ones.
So
though.
I have neon green tumblers, but I can pick any color, or you can pick any color that you want, and I can make the tumblers for you. They have our logo and the Dom Life on them. We've give them out to our gifts to the Doms and the submissives that helped us the night at our demo.
Yes.
I made everybody a tumbler for helping us that night and participating, and that went great.
It was a great night.
Let's talk a little about our private parties. So what kind of games did you come up with during some of our private parties? Because those are always fun.
I was just going to skip right on past that, but we did have some fun. So there was a Friendsgiving event.
Yep,
that
right before Thanksgiving.
Right
we had
before
Friendsgiving.
Thanksgiving. And I made all of the women bring a pair of white underwear for their men because I don't know their sizes. So I said, just bring a pair
Well, hold on. Let's back up a minute. You made a poster board and painted it like a turkey, and the feathers of the turkeys were envelopes that had the games inside of them.
Right. So you had to draw the game.
When everybody got here, we had a turkey hunt. What was the name of that?
I don't remember.
It was a turkey hunt. So we hid turkeys everywhere.
Pictures of turkeys.
Pictures of turkeys everywhere through our house. And we sent them on a scavenger hunt to find all the turkeys.
Right.
And whoever found the most turkeys got to pick the first feather to determine what the next game was. And I'm telling you what, the people that were here, we had about 15, 16 people here.
Right.
They freaking tore the house up looking for these turkeys.
They did. They found
had
them
so
all.
much fun. They did. They found every one of them.
They found them all. And then we did the game with the necklaces, just like plastic necklaces.
Mardi
where
Gras
Mardi Gras. So
beads.
you were basically, you had to kiss somebody senseless for you to get their beads. And the objective was to collect as many of the beads as you could.
Yes.
And then you won that prize. And what I did is the prizes were lotto tickets inside of feathers as well. So you plucked a feather when you won a game.
Yep. So going back to the men's underwear, that was one of the games we played.
Yes.
And the men had to put on this underwear. And of course, you bought me, the grandpa underwear.
Everybody had the tighty whitey underwear
Not
except
everybody
for
did, except for Sir Dante.
he had on
And
his sexy stuff.
Zora done good and picked out some sexy underwear for him. But everybody else had these. Well, I mean, I'm sure our listeners.
It was fine because it was wonderful.
Those, but
and
they were
the
the
whole
big.
objective, now, you're sitting here whining about it, but at least you had a little bit of space. His were pretty tight. And that, the bubble, just in case you were wondering, the bubble paint that you use to paint clothing,
It goes through.
It bleeds right through.
And it'll stick on your skin.
And then your clothes, will stick to your hair and your skin. And poor Sir Dante had the worst of it on him.
Yes.
And I guess that it stuck all the way around. And then we chose who would win based on how well the women decorated the men's underwear while it was on their body.
Yes.
And then there was another one that we didn't get to because we ran out of time, was the woman's tank tops. So braless tank top, you would decorate that. But, oh, how sad we didn't get there.
Yeah, what a shame. Instead, I think everybody wound up getting naked and there was no clothes to even have on to get painted.
No, we played down in the dungeon.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun down there in the dungeon.
You created 2 brand new games for a birthday at the VIP for last night.
Last night, which is why we're a little bit tired today.
Tell us about the 2 new games that you created for that.
It was so much fun.
It was fun. It was a blast.
And everybody had such a good time. Sometimes when you have a new game, it causes you to go outside of your comfort zone. And I created this game specifically to push people out of their comfort zone.
And that you did.
Yeah. So my 2 games were Activity Bingo and Poker. Of course, this is icebreaker type games and swingers activity games. So I added a twist. And the twist was that for the bingo, I made it all kind of sexual. There was no real fun, flirty stuff. It was all pretty deep.
Yes.
The name of the game was
going along with the theme for the birthday party we was at. So the theme was royalty.
Yes.
And the birthday boy was dressed as a king.
Oh, yeah. And he took that to extreme.
Yeah, he did.
With his chalice and his
cup that he drank from all night.
Yes. And of course, it was us who filled it all night with a toasted coconut rum that we brought for ourselves. And he's like, ooh, yeah, I bought you that because I liked it. Here, let me just pour that in there.
So the name of your bingo game was?
The name of the game is Royally Fucked.
Yep. And you used the ROYAL instead of BINGO.
Yes.
For your royal game.
Yes. And Zora had indicated that she had these little aces that she wanted to give away. And so each row or column contained an ace at the beginning. And that's what you would win.
And it was set up in the suit. So you had the hearts, the diamonds, the spades, the clubs. And then she had a special one that was a color ace.
But she only had 10 of those. So I had to make that row/column harder. And you could only win one per game. But the tasks were, there were only 4 tasks because I put it like a free space in each of them. So there were 4 tasks for each, and I made sure one of the tasks in there was something you wouldn't want to do.
There was several I didn't want to do.
Right. So it got people running around with their little bingo cards doing tasks.
Now, granted, it wasn't just doing our bingo cards in the VIP. We took these bingo cards throughout the whole club. I know I went over to the other VIP side and got a few people to participate. I went down on the dance floor and talked to a few people and was able to knock some of those tasks out with other people. So it got you really out of your comfort zone, away from the people you always talk to, and trying to meet and do fun stuff with other people. So,
I kind of forced that because I made every square had to be signed by somebody different.
yes.
So
Out of 20 tasks and about 16 people, you had to find 4 other people somewhere.
Wait, my turn. So what I recall seeing of you was you butt-ass naked, sitting in front of Dante, singing him happy birthday because that was on the bingo card.
That was the task. Strip down naked and sing happy birthday to the king. And I did.
You did it.
I did. But we shall never talk of that again.
Never again. Nobody heard it. Nobody knows about it. Okay. And then the second game was poker. And I used the same tasks that were in the bingo in the poker. And if you were just happened to come up to somebody who has that task, you could get a 2-for-1. But you couldn't get it after the fact. You had to have both of them at the same time. So the poker game was we actually had 2 decks of cards that I created. They're laminated business cards, and it has the poker hands on one side, and the other side has the Dom Life, and then it has what else did it have on it?
Then it had the task that you had to do. So while playing this poker game, you would approach someone else that is playing and say, "Show me your cards."
And then I would show you my cards. What you would see is the task.
Right. All I could see is the task. I don't know what card goes to what task. You set everything up random.
And I did it so random that, if you're trying to get an ace, don't do the hardest task because it may not be. Right. I literally did it completely random.
Absolutely random. I would read your
5 cards.
I would read the other person's cards, and then I was able to pick what task I was willing to do with that person and say, I want this card. And then we would do the task, and then I would keep that card. And then that's when I would find out whether it helped my poker hand or whether it hurt. And then at that moment, if the other person wanted a card back, they could look at the 5 that I approached them with, not the one I just took, but they could look at my other cards. And if they chose to do one, they could, or they would have to go to somebody else and find one.
Now, because there's 52 cards, because it's actually 54 because the 2 jokers.
I was the jokers.
You were the jokers. So I put Dante on as the king and Zora on as the queen since it was their event and they asked me to create a game for this. And you were the joker. With the cards, there were a lot of different activities and tasks that were fun, that were interesting. There was sensory depth. There was
impact.
Hey, so wait. Oh, another one that's really exciting, right? So Chris, who's going to be on the podcast next week, and Dante, who's already been on the podcast, they were drawing cards from each other, and Dante picked the card that said 2 hits from a paddle.
Oh, I remember that. I can't believe he chose that one.
2 hits from a paddle, and he took it from Chris, and Chris got the paddle and hit Sir Dante on the butt pretty hard. And I have a video of it.
Yep, we'll definitely have to share that around then. But again, some of them, like you said, were very much pushing you out of your comfort zone. And there was some of them I remember I went to one person and one of the tasks on the card was do what makes the card holder happy. So I was like, I'm going to pull this one. What will make you happy? And she looked up at me and she said, I want a hug. So she leaped up, put her legs around me. I gave her a big bear hug for several seconds there. And then I got to walk away with my card. So a lot of them were easy and were very mild. But
and then the other ones
were
there's
to
like
the extreme.
Penetration.
Yes.
They're oral. Yeah. So it was a fun night where people were really going outside of their comfort zone. So I'm glad we had an opportunity to tell you. We're going to have the poker cards available at Club Tempted shortly. I've got to print them out. These were custom made, so I'm going to have to print them out for Club Tempted. They've asked me for some.
So if you have an event coming up that you can give us enough of a heads up, we can, well, I say you do the games. You can come up with a game that will fit their title or their description or their theme of the party. You know, if Naughtywood isn't really what you want, we will have the poker available soon on our website as well as Club Tempted. But again, if you have something that you want something custom made, reach out to us, give us a holler, kind of give us an idea of what you're looking for, what your theme is, and let's see if we can come up with something for one of your house parties or themed parties.
Right. And just for the poker game, cards that have the King, Queen, and Jack and Jokers, we could customize those with faces of the people that you want on it from your party.
Yep.
And then the other thing is if you do want a game created, there'll have to be some back and forth, some explanation, how deep you want to get. Because like I said, this one, we really pushed the boundaries.
We did. You did. So we do have merchandise on our website.
Which you've already talked about.
So make sure and visit there. But while you're on our website, you can find out where we'll be next. We try to keep it updated with what events we're going to.
So we have a couple of cool events coming up.
Yes, we do. Swinger Society will be doing a club takeover in August.
And August 23rd, Friday, is Through the Looking Glass, which is the Mad Hatter party.
Okay.
Sensory deprivation.
That's what we're doing that night. And then Saturday is Cogs and Corsets, and we will be doing
the
electric wand. So we're doing 2 demonstrations Friday, August 23rd, and 2 demonstrations Saturday, August 24th. Our sensory deprivation we'll have our performers. They will be blindfolded with noise canceling headphones, and the people around will be able to use different implements
that were part of the Mad Hatter Tea Party set on the tabletop, and we'll be able to use that on the sensory deprived individuals.
Yes.
It will be sensual play. It is not supposed to be heavy impact or anything rough. It is all sensual, and it should be so fun.
Yes.
I'm like, we're trying to fit in some eating off the skin type of stuff because I love that too.
Yeah, that's something in the plans that we're trying to get
working out. Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday again is the electric wand, where we'll have our wand up, showing the different electrodes and letting people experience that.
We're going to start it with a show so that people can see how it looks and what it's like when you're doing it on somebody.
Absolutely.
It's so amazing.
So make sure and check out our website where we'll be next. We keep that updated. If we go to any more BDSM conventions or any other clubs or any of that stuff, we'll make sure and have it posted on there.
You can see the places we've been.
Yes.
Although sometimes we attend events that you cannot take pictures at.
Correct.
What? Really?
It happens. Yes, definitely check out our photo gallery. That is of things that we have done, people we have seen, people who we have brought in, and different things showing where we've been at.
Oh, yes.
And as always, we would love to hear from you, our listeners. Send us an email if you have any questions regarding any of our episodes, or
send us an email of a topic that you want us to talk about
in a future episode, because this is all about an introduction into the BDSM lifestyle, all the pieces and parts of it. And we already know we're going to have a series of dominance on,
Yes.
and we're talking about a subby day, like where the men aren't around and the subs just get together and talk.
Yeah, you all would have a lot of fun with
Oh,
that.
it would be so much fun. There will be alcohol involved with the subby day. I'm just saying.
Yep.
So
Also, one other thing on our website for our podcasts, in case you don't know, there is a tab for our podcast details where you can go. You can read about our summary. You can read about what we enjoyed the most out of that podcast.
oh, and there's some funny parts of it.
We tell you
What we want you to take away from the episode.
and any take backs, but that is where we
And then-
post pictures regarding each episode that we talk about. We have the pictures posted there.
And sometimes we have to take things back, or we want to expand upon something from a previous episode, and we'll note that. It's pretty important that we're always on top of our discussions and what we really want you to take away from it, and what we say that we may not have meant in the minute when we
Correct.
said it.
We are only human.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
There are some things that sometimes we say or misleading that we say. And again,
We don't edit.
We don't like to edit.
As little as possible.
We are real people. We are talking about a real topic. We are talking about our real life in hopes to educate and show more people into our lifestyle. Coming up on our next episode, we have more guests.
It is so exciting when we have friends that come on here. And this coming up week,
It's a little bit of a twist.
a little bit of a twist, because there's Chris and Mandy coming.
Chris and Mandy, and they live a sexual dominant, submissive lifestyle with the twist of Mandy being the dom, Chris being the submissive. Make sure and check back with us next week as we release their episode.
Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.